Earmarks used to have a bad reputation as pork barrel politics, allowing individual members of Congress to send millions of dollars back to their districts for road projects and other public construction. But in the current Congress, Republicans and Democrats have agreed to allow the practice once again, with extra transparency around whether elected representatives or their staff stand to gain from them. In all, there's about $14 billion that Congress members have a chance to earmark this fiscal year.
When we think of that particular word, we think of the bridge to nowhere, right? We think of projects that were kind of backroom deals, and so it was really important to me, and I would say, to all of us, to make sure that if we were going to help direct spending in our districts, which I think is really important because we know our districts better than bureaucrats in Washington, D.C., then we need to have the most transparent, ethical system possible.
8th District Democrat Kim Schrier has requested $892 million in earmarks for surface transportation projects, including $13 million in roadway improvements geared for link transit buses, $2 million to upgrade North Wenatchee Avenue, $12.7 million to rehabilitate the Beebe Bridge across the Columbia. In all, about $42 million of her requests would benefit projects in the Wenatchee Valley. The largest single project, widening State Highway 18 in King County, would take up $665 million of the total. Other road and highway investments include projects in Issaquah, Ellensburg, and the I-90 corridor. Schrier also requested almost $10.4 million in what's called community project funding, non-transportation money for civic projects, including $1.7 million to help the Chelan County PUD expand fiber optic cable to underserved areas, and $941,000 toward affordable housing for working people in Leavenworth.
We're talking about a rural area. We're talking about a district that has been phenomenal in providing broadband to the county, and this was one area that had not yet been reached. And given the importance of education and telemedicine right now, it would be a great investment. Most people who work in Leavenworth cannot afford to live in Leavenworth. This seemed like a really great investment.
Schrier's total spending request is the second largest of any House member this fiscal year. She relied on public work groups to recommend worthwhile projects for earmark funding, and she's not the only North Central Washington House member to do so. Republican Dan Newhouse set aside $27.9 million in transportation spending and nearly $16 million on community projects for his 4th district. Newhouse's transport money would go exclusively to Yakima and Walla Walla counties, but his community project funding includes $2.5 million for a railway shipping expansion for the Port of Quincy, and a similar amount for the proposed Health Science Center on the Wenatchee Valley College campus at OMAC. All earmarks must be approved by the House Appropriations Committee or the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, and those votes might not happen until the end of summer. Schrier says when she set out to fund 8th District projects, she wasn't concerned about the large size of her request.
I did not take into account scale. What I took into account was where the community need is. And it was important to me, representing this district, to put forth projects that were really important.
Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.